Hey everybody, it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about how I transformed a classic happy planner into an A5. Let's talk about it. Okay guys, I hope you guys are all doing well and happy February to everybody out there. So I have been thinking really long and hard about this process of going from a classic size to an A5. Many of you know that I've been using my mini happy planner as pretty much my on-the-go purse planner. She's my little ride or die. I have my mini with me all the time. So I initially wanted to create like a writing notebook, but it was just still feeling too big for me, and I just found myself reaching for it less and less. So I decided to make my own A5 using Happy Planner supplies. So I really wish that Happy Planner would make a 5 size. I feel like they listen and they watch our videos. So if anybody from Happy Planner is watching my video, please make a 5 size. I think there would be a ton of people in the planner community that would really appreciate that. So let's talk. Let me move this one out of the way for a little bit. So this, if you're unfamiliar with A5, it essentially has 8 rings instead of 9 rings. And just to do like a quick little size comparison, the classic size is still pretty big. So basically I took, I don't know if you guys remember this Happy Face Happy Planner, and I don't know what's here. I kind of ruined it here anyway. So it was like, today's a good day to have a good day. And so because obviously this would get chopped off, I just decided to go with this grid pattern that says Plan a Happy Life. So this is actually the inside cover, and I recommend doing that if you're going to DIY your own cover and cut it down to a size A5. So in order to make sure that I had the right dimensions, I was heavily referencing the channel Squared Plans. Many of you might know her from the planner community, and she recently switched from using a classic size, and she moved into a A5. So in order to get these dimensions and cut everything as precisely as possible, I went on her Etsy shop because I've bought a lot of her downloads from Etsy, and I got the dimensions, and then I cut everything with my paper cutter, which I will show you guys that right now. I used this machine to cut my planner cover. Let me see if I can get, if there's like a name. This is the name, Swing Line, I think that says. And as you guys can see, I have like these little markings to cut my dimensions to make sure that I'm precise. So that's what I use to cut this down to size. So like I was mentioning, if you're gonna make a cover, obviously you know this would get cut off. So I recommend just using the inside cover. That way you won't have to, you can like cut this and you won't have to worry about like ruining words or anything. So using the inside of the Happy Planner is probably a better choice. And then usually it will say something here like live creatively or plan a happy life. So I recommend just using the inside of the Happy Planner cover, so you're not, you know, you wouldn't want like half of this chopped off. I mean, I guess you could do it, but if you just want like a more cohesive cover, then I would recommend just using the inside of planner cover. So let's talk a little bit about what I have in here. So I'm calling this my writing project planner or journal, if you will. So I'm currently working on a collection of personal essays as well as some poems and some short stories. If you guys are interested in creative nonfiction, poetry, prose, essays, short stories, you can head over to my website, paperpoetryprose.com. It's in the description. So I have when all of my writing is on my computer, I feel very disconnected from it. So I needed to print everything out so I can start the process of edits. I can know, what's on my website, what still needs to get posted. So this is also a happy planner cover that I was playing around with, but as you can see, I cut it a little bit too much here. So I thought I would just use it as kind of like a dashboard. I can probably put sticky notes or something on here. And then inside is a printout of the newsletter that I posted for my website. I have decided this year in 2026 to do a quarterly newsletter instead of a monthly newsletter, and that gives me just a little bit more time. And you can also subscribe to my website too. It's totally free and you'll just be notified whenever I post. I was gonna make my newsletter exclusive to my subscribers over there, but that felt just like a lot of pressure. So it's just posted on my website like any other blog post, and you can go in there and click on it anytime that you feel like it. So this is just regular, plain, old, cheap Amazon printer paper because I knew this is just rough draft, and it was my first time doing this, so I didn't want to invest a lot of time, energy, and effort and money into this because I didn't know how all of this would turn out. And as I go through it, you're gonna see a lot of imperfections. This was some filler paper that I purchased on Amazon that I cut down to size. This dashboard here was a classic size dashboard, and I just cut off the last punch. So this used to have 9 punches. I cut off that 9th one and now it has 8. And then I just I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, I just kind of rounded the corners with some scissors because it can be a little sharp when you cut things, so I didn't want to have a sharp edge. So like I said, this is a lot of my writing, and you can find a lot of my poems over on my website, so the poem section won't be too much of a spoiler. But what I'm finding as I start writing is that the books that I'm working on are kind of like a trilogy. So there's going to be my collection of essays, my collection of poems, and a collection of short stories. It's going to be a trilogy or a 3-part series, if you will, of creative nonfiction. So this is what I hope to be my cover, and I designed this on Canva. I used my own art, my own images. These are all photos of flowers that I took on my own. This is not anybody else's images. So if you guys know me, you guys know I'm a flower girl. I love flowers, and long story short, I used to have this beautiful flower garden outside of my classroom at a school that I taught at right after the pandemic. And the pastor of that church had passed away, and the church members planted a rose garden in his memory, and it was just the most beautiful flowers ever. So that's that. So I wanted to have my cover in here so it would motivate me to write more and inspire me to write more. So this is just a a lot of poems and stuff that I've written that you guys can find over on my website. So that is all of my poems. And then there's some filler paper in here too, just in case I get like some inspiration. So the next project in here that I have is my collection of personal essays. So again, this was a classic size dashboard, and I cut it down, took that last punch off and just made it into this A5 one. And I cut a little bit off the side too. And again, like I said, none of this is perfect. As you can see, some of the paper kind of sticks out. Nothing is like totally perfect because it is DIY. So there's a lot of imperfections. So here is my next project, which is taking me forever to get through this. Again, my own art, my own images. This is my collection of personal essays, which has been quite the project to write and keep up with. So I have started going through and making the edits for this little by little. None of this is on my website, so I don't want to have any spoilers in here for you guys, but that is my collection of personal essays. And again, I have the cover here because I'm really trying to motivate myself to just keep writing, keep working on this, and just keep moving forward with it. So there is that. And then again, I think I have a little bit of filler paper. Yeah, I have a little bit of filler paper back here as well. So the next part is again another dashboard. I was looking for like another clear one, but I didn't have one that I was willing to cut because I believe it was wrong, and you guys know how I am about my wrong stuff. I didn't want to alter it in any way. So the last project is called oh, did I say what this title is called? Let me see. So my collection of personal essays is called Collapse, a collection of personal essays, Jennifer Parks. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to use my government name or do I want to use a pen name? So I'm still trying to figure that out. But anyway, I just have my name down there until I can figure it out. So again, just going back, it's Catharsis, Collapse, Collage, and this is just going to be my collection of short stories, and I have very little. I want to start writing more short stories, but for right now I have very little. So that is my writing, editing project notebook that I converted from a classic size into an A5 size. So let's look at the back. I did add a few more stickers. So these are just a mix of Live Love Posh stickers and some Wrong stickers. And this is my first time ever like putting stickers on the outside of my Happy Planner cover. So this one says work in progress always. Write, create, inspire. And on the back it says chase the sun, dream big girl, keep on exploring. And yeah, I feel like it turned out really great. I feel like this is a much smaller, really easy for me to carry around. Just to bring my mini over really quick, you know, I've been using a mini size Happy Planner since about July of 2025, and I've gotten so used to this small size, and I've really gotten used to making everything fit in my mini Happy Planner. And so the classic size Happy Planner was just still feeling really big for me. I think moving forward, if I do decide to continue in the classic size, I feel like it'll be more like something that I keep at home, maybe something that I just use when I'm in the house. But this is something that I can easily carry around, and obviously my mini is something that I can carry around. So when I went to work today, I actually took both of these with me in my backpack, and it wasn't an issue. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and I'm actually looking forward to making more of these. I didn't film any of it because I was just kind of, you know, feeling around in the dark, really. You know, I was just kind of figuring things out as I went along. And again, it's not totally perfect. As you guys can see, like some of the pages still stick out. Everything is not perfect. And there's still some things that I want to add to this. So like, for example, I do want to add some dividers in here. I have these top dividers, but I want to add some side dividers just to give it a little bit more, add some more sections in here. So just a tip on dividers, I can totally use this because it has like this running pattern. So I was just gonna cut off the last disc, cut some off on the side. And once you have your dimensions down, and like I said, Squared Plans has a really precise dimension. So you could either, you can go on her Etsy and she has the size and dimensions when you purchase something for her from her Etsy shop, or you don't even have to purchase anything. You can go and look on her Etsy shop just to get the dimensions so you know like how to cut something. And then once you have something cut, you can just keep using this and cut around it with a pair of scissors, or you can use, something like this if you want to be a little bit more precise. Yeah, I think I might use this for one of my dividers, but again, I don't want to, I do need this tab so I can just always like bring this over and then just don't cut the little tab off. So I would stick to choosing things with like a running pattern. This could work as well, and you can still keep the little bit of writing on there. So it's just all a matter of like, you know, how you want your dividers to look, what you want to keep. I would maybe stay away from cutting things like this because you don't want to like cut off some of the words or part of this picture. I mean, I could probably get all of this person here, and then I would maybe just have to make my own little tab, you know what I mean? But if I wanted to keep the tab, like her legs would have to be cut off, or it's part of the wording would be cut off. But that's just something you would have to play around with. Like maybe I could use this, but then, you know, not the words will get cut off. So that's just a little tip just to be mindful of when you are either choosing a cover or choosing dividers, or, you know, where you want to cut things. That's just something to be mindful of. And then going back to like choosing a cover, so as you guys can see, let me take this off really quick. You know how Happy Planner has like, you can see like the lamination on the bottom. I had to cut all of that off. So there's no lamination on the bottom, no lamination on the side. I did keep, you can see that clear lamination on these punches here. I kept that, but all the lamination came off. So if you know that's going to bother you, this is something that you might not want to try, or you might, if you feel comfortable just making your own covers. Right now, I don't have like a commercial grade like laminator and laminating sheets that would make like the really thick Happy Planner cover. I really wish that I did. So I would suggest, if you want to do your own cover, look for a cover that you don't really care too much about. I was not going to be using these happy faces, so I knew I didn't, you know, mind hacking into this. But if you have an emotional attachment to a cover, you know, definitely I wouldn't mess with it, because you definitely don't want to cut into something you really like and then you regret it, because there's like no going back. I adore this classic cover. I probably wouldn't cut this one. It you know, I guess you could, you know, but I would just be mindful of that. And then if you do want to have a cover that you want to cut, you know, I would just use more of a running pattern than a pattern like this, where, you know, things can get cut off that you might want to keep. I love this cover, and I actually really love this cover too, so I probably won't be cutting these, but I would definitely just look at your inventory with your covers and just see, hey, is there any cover in here that, you know, I'm not too crazy about? Do I like the, you know, the inside cover more than the outside cover? I've always liked these grid covers, and I was like, let me throw some stickers on there. So that is it, you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful or inspiring, and let me know down in the comments if you've ever transformed one of your planners into something that worked a little bit better for you. Bye, guys.